Hello everybody and welcome to this Train Sim World 3 news video. Today we're going to have a look at a recently announced, it was announced in the roadmap that released recently, route. It's going to be the next UK route to release after Peak Forest, so reasonably big stuff. This would have been, actually I don't think we knew about this before. This is a Dovetail release. It is coming from Dovetail. No one really knew it was happening. It hasn't been highly requested. I don't think it's been requested at all. It's the Glossop line, and it is a very obscure, electrified, unusual, but still very short railway in eastern Manchester. So have a look at the route map. This is just ripped off Wikipedia. So this is the route map, the Glossop line. It used to be part of the Woodhead Electric Railway, which was that 1500 volt DC railway that was, reasonably interesting. You read up about it if you want to learn a bit more about that. But just a little bit of it remains in this form. It's been re-electrified at 25,000 kilovolts AC 50 hertz. It goes from Piccadilly, as you can see, which we don't have Piccadilly, do we? Manchester Piccadilly? Or do we have Victoria? I can't remember, and I'm not too sure. I'm pretty sure we got Victoria, because we come, the Northern Transpennine comes out of Victoria, and then we go round through Ashton, Staley Bridge. I feel like that's what it does. I could be completely wrong, and I probably am. So I'll stop talking about that. But you can see it's not very long. There is a bit of a triangle junction just over at Dinting, but other than that, there's not too much going on. So in terms of some fast facts, so there's 13 stations across 13 miles. So station spacing is quite close, so there'll be a sort of very stop-start metro-esque service whilst still not actually being a metro. It's set in the modern day, so it'll be operated by Northern in the new Northern livery. All kinds of modern stuff. There might even be a Northern liveried 158 or a 150. Who knows? Probably not, knowing Dovetail. Who knows? They haven't said that. It's mostly double track, except for a little bit out the back. We definitely know that it will come with a Class 323, which you'll know has been layered over from Birmingham Cross City, which we already have. It's a very good piece of rolling stock from Dovetail, and it will be good to see that layered onto more routes. There's a maximum speed of 75 miles an hour along the route, but of course there are some more localised speed restrictions that are lower than that, and the services are generally captive, so almost all the services are end-to-end. But when they get to the end, they turn around and head back. So it's sort of like the Bakerloo line in that effect. There are some other railways that go off and about, but all of the services will start at Piccadilly, Victoria. What is it? Piccadilly. They'll go from Piccadilly to the other end and then turn around and go back. So you can just keep shuttling back and forth on the same train for the most part. So some quirks of the route. There aren't many, because as I mentioned, it's really not that outstanding of a route. And that's a lot of things that a lot of people have been saying this in the forums, that no one actually asked for it. It's a very unusual choice, but it's very clear that this is a filler route. It's Dovetail's just doing it because they need to put a route out. They need some content to be released, and this is cheap and easy and not that difficult. So, in terms of the few quirks that there are, there's a triangle junction at Dinting. So you can see Dinting to the right here, where the line splits and goes to Hadfield and Glossop. So when you get to either Hadfield or Glossop, you have to turn around and continue. So the services, I believe, at the moment, services go from Piccadilly to Dinting, and then go down to Glossop, and then up to Hadfield, and then to Dinting, and back to Piccadilly. So those are the services, and they strictly start and end. So it's either Piccadilly to Hadfield or Hadfield to Piccadilly. So yeah, and just those branch lines around Glossop and Hadfield are single track. But those are the quirks, and other than it being the second layered route for the Class 323, which means now we have both current operators of the 323. It'll be interesting to see which livery they choose. I suspect it'll be the one in the background rather than the older pink livery. Timetable. There's pretty boring. There's 2 trains per hour in the off-peak, and on-peak it's a little bit more than that. So whilst it is stop-start, it's not particularly fast by any means. Or it's not particularly regular by any means, so you're not going to be passing lots of things, even just on the scale of Birmingham Cross City. Now, there are some sticking points that I have personally with this route. Obviously, it's very short, and it doesn't actually come with any new rolling stock. It doesn't really bring that much to the game, and it'll probably just get relegated to the likes of Quick Play and whatever. But the big thing for me is that it's going to be another case of big empty termini, and people have expressed their opinion on this. Some people are in favour, some people are against. Some people make the argument that as more things get added to the game, we'll see that these termini get populated. Now, I would say, fair enough, but knowing Dovetail, I would say, actually, no, that's not going to happen. We've seen Glasgow Central, we released with the 314, now we've got the 385. That hasn't really layered into anything, and it's still a completely dead terminus. Got some termini. Germany is alright actually, because a lot of the stock is common around there. But in the UK, because the stock is so localised, the termini are just so boring. Like Darlington on the Tees Valley line, all of the stuff on Northern Transpennine, things in and around London. You know, we've just got St Pancras for some extra stock in there, but the international platforms are completely dead. Paddington, they just got 2 types of train there. There's not much going on, is my point. And I feel like Piccadilly will just be a bit of a letdown, because instead of having all of this stuff coming and going, we're just going to have this dinky little 3-car electric multiple unit just sitting around, leaving every half hour. But yeah, what can you do, I suppose? And the final thing, the most important thing, the price. Now, allegedly, it's going to be slightly cheaper than a normal route, which would make sense because it's very short. It's as long as the Bakerloo line, but I think it's shorter than the Bakerloo line, but with not as many stations. So not that hard to model for them, really. They've made much more challenging things in the past. So that is about all you need to know about the Glossop line. If you have any questions, then please do leave them in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them. And for further reading, go onto Wikipedia, go onto the forums, go onto Open Railway Map, have a look for yourself. There will be a video on the roadmap, the recent roadmap in general, coming soon, so keep your eyes open for that. And also make sure to check out my live stream that's coming this Saturday evening, Australian time. So thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.